My fitness level right now, not very good.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Yeah. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand.
Depending on the foot form we put inside.
So we're sitting here on August 16th. This is week 1 of a 16-week build-up, which will end at the CIM Marathon on December 4th.
USA Track and Field announced that December's California International Marathon will serve as the National Marathon Championship.
CIM, based off the way my last year's gone, makes a lot of sense for me. I race very well when I can run kind of up front and in the lead and not be I guess buried in some of the bigger fields. So I think CIM is going to provide like a very competitive environment for me and one that's going to like allow me to kind of run my style of a race.
Jacob Thomson with the win.
And Thomson there will finish in the top 3, so he makes podium money.
Backtrack to I guess about a year and a half ago. I was living in Boston, Massachusetts at the time, and I kind of came to this realization that I only had a finite number of years to do this, and I wanted to go to the best place in the United States possibly that I could train at, and to me that was Flagstaff. So packed up everything that would fit in my CRV and drove from Boston to Kentucky first, and then Kentucky to Flagstaff, and started the journey. It is Friday, August 19th. We're on Lake Mary Road. We're going down to Lake Marshall Hill and do some long hill reps this morning. Yeah, I usually do them at the beginning of a training block, kind of regardless of what I'm getting ready for. It's a good way to get in shape and get a lot of work in without like hitting the track too early. So yeah, we'll be on the hills, do like 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute hills.
Split it. Yeah, it's 101.
Yeah. Look pretty good.
When you drive coming back?
You look a little more fit than I thought you would have.
Thanks. Wait, who's on you?
No, JT.
I've lost like 4.5 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
What are the patches for?
For inflammation. Got like a neck thing going on and calf and Achilles. So usually strap up on workout days. If something hurts or I have like my calf or Achilles is like really tight, yeah, I'll put it on there and like 15 minutes later I feel way better.
Yeah. Really though, we should get Slurpees on the way home. I'm getting one.
A little whey protein. Then we'll get a Slurpee on the way home. Make some breakfast. This morning I had some granola and some coffee and some water. But try to eat something, depending on what I'm doing. It'll get more dialed in when I get to like the marathon sessions. We did 18 minutes of hills, 3 sets of 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute. Hills are probably my least favorite type of workout for sure, especially at altitude. But if there is one cheat code to fitness at altitude, it's hills. So we do them in the beginning of like a training block a lot, and then we'll also end like a lot of tempo stuff with kind of like hill strides or like 150s and stuff on hills. But yeah, overall went better than I thought it would. I think I was kind of prepared for the worst. So go Claire! Even like this morning, you know, driving out here at 8:30, like you pass 15 people who are all like training at a very high level, and just think like over the last 10, 20, 30 years, like ever since people have been coming out here to train and to live and to work out, like so many Olympians and people who've had a lot of success and competed at a high level have all worked out up and down this road. So it's always pretty cool. Nothing like a Slurpee protein shake combo. Gotta get ready for a big Dustin Lynch concert coming up here Flagstaff doesn't get any very many big-time artists, so it's gonna be talk of the town. September 9th, Dustin Lynch, Fort Todd Hill Amphitheater. I'll be there. So last year, the main goal for moving out to Flagstaff was to qualify for the 2020 Olympic trials.
Now Thomson looking to move past Rupp, and he does. He gets by. And Thomson with his arms up. He's punched his ticket to the Olympic trials.
I ended up breaking 28 minutes in the 10K for the first time, getting a qualifying spot for the Olympic trials.
Tammy and Mark Thomson are now on their way to Eugene, Oregon. That's where the nation's greatest track and field athletes are gathering for the U.S. Olympic track and field trials. Jacob will be competing in the men's 10K on Friday night, and he has to finish in the top 3 in order to make the U.S. Olympic team.
The trials weren't the race I had hoped to have at the trials. It was 17th place. Obviously wanted to be trying to compete for a spot, but more importantly, like, I want to be really consistent in my performances and get into the top 10 in the U.S. like year after year. And I wasn't really able to do that. I kind of always figured I would end up at the marathon one day. I didn't know when or where that would be, but after the Olympic trials, it became pretty clear that I wanted to give a fall marathon a try in 2021. So I settled on running the Chicago Marathon, and in my debut, I was 12th at Chicago, running 2:15. After what I thought was like a pretty good debut at Chicago last year, I knew the marathon was going to be kind of my future, and I started to point my eyes towards the 2024 Olympic trials in the marathon. So this phase of training right now is I'm about to just jump into the trenches. We're back in the weight room, mileage is going up, just getting back in shape really, getting my butt kicked in workouts, just kind of the grind of being tired and really starting from scratch, which is something I haven't done since I took a break after the Chicago Marathon last fall. So after my last race of the season, which was the US 8K Champs, I took about a 3-week break where I was back home, put on a high school running camp, kind of took 2 weeks at home just relaxing with my friends, and then yeah, came back to altitude and excited to get started and get fit again. Gonna do 18-mile long run. It's the beginning of week 4. Weeks get all mixed up now. We did like 2 weeks of normal training and then kind of switched into this this 9-day cycle. This is day 9, the first 9-day cycle. We'll do a long run. Fairly steady, it'll be like 6, 6, 6 of like 6 miles easy, 6 miles moderate, 6 miles like a little up tempo. So we'll start on the dirt and then finish up on the roads. The Under Armour shoe team is out here as well, which will be nice. We get a lot of like feedback as they're like developing all the new like flats and racing shoes and stuff, and it's a cool thing with Under Armour to be able to like actually have like a little bit of say and know that the engineers who are building your shoes care enough to come all the way out here to Flagstaff to see how they work. 3 out, 3 back. We'll change shoes real quick and then go. We got 2 content teams out here.
Not my fault.
Good job, this time.
As they're striking through.
Good job, bud.
Oh, thanks.
How'd you feel coming off Saturday?
Oh, I feel fine. Yeah. I mean, this is the longest run I've done in almost 5 months, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, the last 2 miles is 10:42.
It's fucking great.
We're supposed to get down to 5:30 and stay there, but
It picked up a little bit. Hey, look, we had a little excitement, a couple of cameras, a couple of bike pacers.
yeah, with a little bit of pit, a little bit of
72 would have been 6-minute pace.
And then 5-minute paces.
Would have been 60.
So you're right in the middle of that almost.
So 66 would have been 5:30. And we were 107.40, so another 60, what's another 100 seconds. So 12 goes into 100. 8 times.
Yeah.
So we averaged 5:38 for the last 12 miles. Going
That's some good ass math.
from 5:53 was the first mile, and the last mile was 5:20 on the dot.
Yeah.
First 9 days down. Start all over
Pretty
tomorrow.
good first 9 days.
Yeah.
that was helpful the last on the way back. You could hear the music.
Good.
You'll be able to join us for lunch today or tomorrow?
Yep. Yeah, I'll be there today.
What will be your longest run before the race?
I'll do 125. And that'll be like a workout, a long run. But other than that, I think I might have 124 and then a bunch of like 20 to 22s. So we're still kind of building up the last 3 weeks. I'm basically coming from nothing. I went 16, 17, 18. And then, yeah, I'll probably jump up to 20, 21 9 days from now when we do this again. We're on the way to lunch with the Under Armour innovation team. They're here for 4 days. They kind of come in they're here a couple times in the spring. So they probably come in like 4 or 5 times a year and it's like get really deep into like all the prototype shoes and the new spikes, like the marathon shoes and like everything they're developing, and we kind of get all those, and it's what like we train in a lot of time, and then it's cool to like actually the engineers like come out to Flagstaff and come to practice and sit down and have these like one-on-one meetings with us to like see what we like, see what we don't like, because their job is to like make us go fast, and obviously like our perspective on the shoes is probably like a little bit different than the regular marketing or like your average like runner, so they kind of have to like please both parties, I guess. So it's cool to have them out here for that. But yeah, this morning we did 18 miles. We're kind of on this, so we're on the 9-day cycle, so like we're doing a long run every 9 days, and they're not really like workouts, but they're a lot like steadier runs. Like we averaged 5:37 for the last 12 miles of the 18 miles today. I think most of them will kind of be similar to that. They'll get a little bit longer, maybe a little bit quicker, but that's like the general idea we want to stick with. I think it's one thing like I did not have in my build up to Chicago last year at all. I feel like I didn't do enough of like the longer runs, or like the steady pace, not like really workout pace, but just like steady running. So I think that's like one thing that, especially doing that up here at 7,000 feet, like it's gonna make 5-minute pace hopefully feel easy on race day.
Thank you.
It's like my daily runs. I think I still would.
Come on, JT. Good.
I don't want to be on camera eating pickles. I'm just gonna hold out until the camera goes away.
Yeah, why don't you guys go out there with Tom, and if it's good, we'll figure it out and grab us, and then I'll wait for Patrick, and then we have Casey come back together. Oh, Casey's here.
You ready for the
Kind of lead the conversation.
Durometer of the thumb.
So I think that's where I'm saying let's play around with it.
Like this shoe, like fills the gap perfectly.
They were great on the hills. Really good on the downhills, which is nice.
You can kind of cycle through your stride really efficiently.
If I'm running 440 to 540 pace, like I would wear that shoe, yeah, for sure.
Create versions of this.
Only changing that and seeing how that feels.
This is the 324. I use them pretty much any road race, but they're gonna be like my marathon shoe. I think I've gotten really used to this like cushioning in the forefoot of the shoe. So like that was the first thing I noticed. It felt almost like similar to
like the Velocity Elite we wore yesterday. Felt way more like responsive and like poppy and 324. So it's like a good combination of soft, which is comfortable, but also getting a lot of response back. My favorite shoes. Give me a couple more, don't mess them up, and good to go.
How you feeling?
Pretty good. I feel like I've had like a crick in my neck for like 2 weeks. Like last night was the first time I could like lay on the pillow with my head like that way.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like shoulder and up into my neck. More on the left side, but kind of both sides.
Yeah, or tape it, see.
Yeah, it did. I think those patches on it. But the back, that's getting a lot better. I think it's definitely way better than it was last week.
Yep.
And last week was way better than it was the week before. So
Okay.
still in the right direction.
Still no side stitch?
Yeah, I haven't had one since that first episode.
Okay.
Which is good.
Yeah. Sweet. Cool. Groin?
I'm starting to like notice it a little bit.
Alright, cool.
But I think I'm just starting to like run enough to agitate it.
Stay seated to start. See JT weekly when you're in town, at least, usually. And then, yeah, kind of a lot of attention to both of his hips, predominantly his left, and then any other issues that'll crop up, kind of like he's feeling his neck right now. Or anything else that kind of crops up during training. If you train at a high level, you're kind of constantly pushing the envelope, so you're always riding that line between like maximum fitness and injury. So just doing everything you can to mitigate going over that edge. And then his previous injury history also plays into that. So whenever you hurt one thing, it's kind of always something you got to manage or stay ahead of because you're more susceptible to re-injuring it. So some of it's hopefully just maintenance and never trying to deal with anything that sets him back from training where he has to stop. But managing that as his mileage and intensity goes up.
Yeah, that's where I can tell it's starting to get. I'm like starting to train enough that that's getting tight.
So you definitely haven't been that tight your last couple.
So we just finished first like 9-day cycle yesterday. Back to day 1, which is in the middle. We're in the middle of the 4th week of training now. 3 weeks down. Back to day 1 of the cycle and slept in. No double today. Was out here jogging 7 miles, super slow. But yeah, had a good first 3 weeks so far. Mileage gone like 67 and then 87. And then last week was 106. And I reckon this week will be about the same, maybe a little bit more. So, right back to the normal schedule tomorrow, pretty much. So, starting to get a little tired, but that is the beginning of marathon training. It starts when you get tired. Running is a really special thing, and you never know how long you'll get to live this kind of lifestyle and compete at this level. So it's something I definitely don't take for granted. On those days that you're like really out there suffering, you got to kind of like step back and look at some scenery like this and really enjoy what you're doing. I'm 27 years old. I'm kind of like, I would say, right in the middle of that marathoning career where I've like just started to get into it, but anything can happen at any time. And the Olympic trials like in 2024, it's definitely where I've shifted my focus, and I think CIM is a really important stepping stone in getting me on the line at the trials whenever they happen in January or February of 24.
Well, maybe don't put this one in there then. Stay down. That's got to be at least 2 pounds.
Wow, look at that sky over there. I think that'll be a cool cut. Luckily it did, and then like you cut to like a